Huge parts of this landscape are broken. It might look alive in places, but what you're looking at is a desert. This is what scientists call a green desert. Call them deserts because they support such little life, and like deserts, you know, these are a lot drier than they really should be. And we're really seeing a loss of life out here, and these landscapes aren't doing the very thing which they should be doing, which is retaining water. Landscapes like this, they largely go unnoticed, and what's happening here now is important to everyone, and I'm going to tell you why. So on this rather sunny but rather windy day, I'm up here on the moorlands in Lancashire. You know, we're surrounded by towns and cities. You've got Bolton over that way, you've got Chorley that way, Darwin that way, and at first glance when you take a look at this, you see nothing special. It's just countryside, rolling hills, a bit of grass. It's a bit empty. But what I am standing on here is actually incredibly important. Now, do not be fooled by this monoculture of grass that is growing here on the surface. Beneath this grass is a rich soil, the remnants of an ancient habitat known as peat. So peat is this black, dark soil which you can see here in this exposed section. Peat is made up of thousands of years of decomposing, or partially decomposing plants. Peat forms incredibly slowly. I think it's a millimeter each year. All of the decomposing plants pile on top of each other, and some old peat can be, you know, like 10 meters deep. That's 10,000-year-old peat. Incredible. And when it's healthy, peat, peatland, peat bogs, it acts like a giant natural sponge. It absorbs rainfall and it holds onto it and releases it slowly over time. So when heavy rainfall hits, it doesn't just immediately wash off and go into our rivers. But its crucial function, it isn't just about one place, you know, here on the moors of Lancashire. This is about all of the uplands across Britain, from Dartmoor all the way up through Scotland. Right now, this landscape which I'm standing in here, this isn't working how it should, and this represents a lot of UK uplands. This is a desert. You know, it might look alive, although right now it's not alive. This is predominantly a monoculture of the grass species purple moorgrass millennia, and you know, this is the time of year where it's dead. There's very little life living here. This is lifeless. Over time, we've drained landscapes like this. You know, we've cut channels into the ground to pull water away as quickly as possible. And this is done for farming, for grazing animals more easily. This is done in the name of control. But there's another layer to this. In the distance there, you can see some heather moorland. This is another man-made habitat which we've created predominantly so we can go out and shoot large numbers of grouse. And now I say we there, I don't mean we, I mean humans. You know, this is a select small group of people who choose to go out and do this, but yet it has a monopoly over the landscape. And they look natural, and this is one of the core problems with this, is that we have accepted this because it's been like it for decades, for centuries. We have been oversimplifying our landscapes, and they've lost their structure, and they've lost their purpose. They've ultimately lost their function. So, you know, what exactly should these landscapes be like? Let me see if I can just get out of the wind here a minute. So what did these landscapes once look like, and what might they look like again if we can restore them? Well, for starters, in our uplands, there would have been far more trees at the edges, you know, alongside the valleys and the slopes and the rivers. The rivers, they would have had trees alongside them, and they wouldn't have just been bare. You see woodlands, you'd maybe even see temperate rainforest. Probably rich and layered ecosystems blending into these wetter, peat-forming landscapes. Deep, inaccessible bogs with huge sphagnum mosses. The whole thing will just be wobbling as you try to walk on it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend walking in it. And we know this today because there are still fragments left of these habitats. And we also know it because they are preserved in the peat. They're in the soils. And let me tell you how this is bigger than just restoring nature. Let me tell you how this could potentially be affecting you or someone you know. Because the water doesn't stay up here, it goes elsewhere. Where does it go? Well, it rushes into our rivers, and all of this builds up downstream, and that is where flooding happens. And these once in a lifetime, you know, generational storms, well, they're happening more and more frequently. And because we've modified our landscapes to not hold water, we're paying the price of this now in our towns, our cities, our homes and livelihoods. even our lives. What's the other side of flooding? Well, it's droughts, you know, as well as seeing these freak rainfall events where we're getting like, you know, half a year's worth of rainfall in 24 hours, we're also seeing really long, prolonged droughts. And that's where we're getting these huge wildfires which sweep through here. I mean, just before you come up on this moorland, there's a sign saying, please no barbecues, no, don't bring any fire up here. And you know what? If all of this was thriving peat bogs, I reckon you could get away with the odd barbecue or two. And this is exactly why I make these videos, because I feel as though that there are just millions of people who are just unaware of what's happening in the world. And equally well, we're unaware of all of the fantastic people who are working to restore these landscapes. I've become increasingly aware that there are many fantastic initiatives and there's many wild places, but they just go underappreciated and they go unheard, and that is exactly what Leave Curious is here to do. I'm here to share my passion for restoring the natural world and to ultimately give it a voice. I've set up a membership over on Patreon. This is the most direct way that you can not only support the channel, but also connect with like-minded people and myself who just want to see nature come back. It really is the Leave Curious members which empowers me, which encourages me to keep pushing further, to bring you videos like this where we can cover these important stories. Okay, now let's get into, you know, how we're solving this problem here. So I'm now walking over a patch of that millennia which is now being restored. So you might recall a video from last year where I came out here to meet up with Alex from the Lancashire Wildlife Trust. He unfortunately couldn't make it out on this video, but you know, I came out here to take a look at the ways that they are restoring peatland here, and it's pretty impressive. This is a huge area of restoration. So the core aim here is to keep water on the landscape, and one way they've been doing this is they've been blocking up the drainage ditches which allow the water just to run off. Now they do this in various ways. Sometimes they use rocks, but other times they literally just build dams and they block up these ditches. But the real change and the real hero of peatland restoration are these peculiar half moon shapes. These are known as bunds. For people who are using subtitles, it's bunds, B-U-N-D-S, bunds. So while the bunds do actually look a little bit peculiar, there is actually some method to the way that they're shaped, and it's all about retaining water and getting it into the soil. Actually dug out with an excavator. You can still see some of the tracks here in the peat, but yeah, they're dug out with an excavator. So they sweep the arm round like this. And now I think of it, that circular sweeping motion is actually quite efficient for the excavator to do, hence the shape. But that material which is dug out is then piled up here on the other side. And like, just look how wet it is. I mean, I don't know how wet it's been here, but every single bund is just full of water. Wowee, this is a big bund. This is a deep bund right here. Not just the dark bit which you see, like all of this land here is now so much wetter. I mean, look at this. And the way that they're terraced as well, and the fact that they've just done so many out here. Yeah, pretty awesome. If you're wondering why this one feels a little bit light in drone cinematography, it's because this thing is just struggling terribly. I do need to get myself a bigger drone. I'm gonna land it before it ends up in a bund. Ooh, what's this down here? Here you go. Now, it could be an old fence post, but I don't think it is. This is an old remnant of a tree. This is what peat does. This must have been unearthed while they were digging the bunds, but this is exactly what peat does. It preserves woody material. You know, it's a sign of probably what was here some years ago. Either that or a dog just carried a log up here. But no, peat definitely does preserve things. Even people, bog bodies. That's a really interesting one. Now, while the bunds are probably the hero of this restoration, there is another much smaller, or it is much smaller at the minute. I don't actually think they've planted any here just yet, although we'll have a look. The other crucial part to restoring peat bogs is getting sphagnum moss back in. Sphagnum moss is nature's sponge. It can absorb an incredible amount of water, but it's also fundamental to the formation of peat. You know, it kind of buries itself. So when it absorbs the water, the sphagnum, it gets bigger. It can then absorb even more water, and it creates these anaerobic conditions where it partially decomposes, and that's what creates the peat. Trust up here has been planting sphagnum in by hand. you know, thousands of plugs going in by hand. But I don't think there's any up in this particular patch just yet. I think Alex told me that this is quite a new area of bunding. Yeah, you know what, looking around over on this open hillside over there, you know what that needs? That needs some bunds. You know what, at the end of the day, this is a video which is just about mud, it's about dead grass, and it's about water. And like, you know what, I actually hope that you're enjoying it, because I'm having a great time out here. You know, this really is early stages restoration, but it's already doing so much, and it is all about the simple idea of getting water back on the landscape, because when we do that, it makes these landscapes more resilient to droughts and to flooding. It's going to benefit all of the millions of people who are living around here, but it's also an essential building block of life. This really is fantastic work, but the important thing is that we have to use this as an example. You know, this kind of thing has to play out across all UK uplands. It's a great work up here from the Wildlife Trust. I'm going to link all their stuff in the description of the video, so you can go and take a look at it. On the screen here is the Leave Curious membership. Do go and check that out. It's the best way to support the channel. And right here is a video about temperate rainforest, which you're going to watch next. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Leave Curious.